Hey, everybody, this is Ben. I've recently started teaching beat making lessons privately in addition to the beat making and Ableton classes I've been teaching for a long time now at Portland Community College, which I really love doing. Also teach drum lessons, but I'm really excited to start teaching beat making lessons. And so to kind of celebrate, I went ahead and made a video showing an Ableton session where I took the classic Halloween theme song, iconic, uh, composed by the great John Carpenter, and I took that original 5/4 loop, that piano loop that most people know about, and using warp and beat repeat in Ableton, I kind of chopped it up, mixed it around, and made it into a 4/4 loop, and then added some kind of cheeky horror soundtrack kind of beat behind it, which I thought was kind of fun. So this is the first time I've done this, so I know it's not perfect, but hopefully you have some fun watching it. I recorded my session previously, so I'm going to be watching it with you and just kind of telling you what I did and maybe roasting myself as well. So here we go. Let's check it out. Okay, so I got the Halloween theme song. There it is. 2, 3, and so it's in 5, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and all right. So first thing I got to do is I need to apply warp to this. So I did that. You can't see my mouse cursor, but I clicked on warp in the clip view section, and then I got to start the beginning of the where I want Ableton to warp from. So I'm doing that right now. I'm telling Ableton that's the start of this clip. This is where I want you to warp from because there's a little bit of space before that. So now it knows that. It's got that. Oh, I just love this song so much. Still in 5. So now I'm kind of just like looking at the waveform. I squished my bars down so that I'm actually just going for that initial piano part. That I don't want the whole song. I just want that little piece because I'm going to sample that and put it into a bigger song. So I've now warped the entire track, but it's still, you can't really hear it that well, but it's still not completely in time with my metronome, which you can see in the kind of top left-hand corner lit up. So this is me moving the warp markers around, which are those little kind of gray triangles at the top of the waveform. I'm moving those around to try and just get this to line up with the grid in Ableton. That's the first thing I got to do here, right? All right, we got that going. Okay, so once you see the warp markers turn pink, that means I'm setting that. I'm saying do not move from here, warp marker. Otherwise, they kind of move like an accordion, back and forth with the track. It takes a little bit of massaging. It can be a little frustrating at first. As you can see, I'm kind of moving things around, but uh, I'm still kind of figuring out exactly where I want to kind of take this 5/4 loop and smush it into something. Takes a little bit of doing. Nothing wrong with trial and error. We always have Command Z or Control Z, right? So now this is kind of the fun part to me. I'm kind of taking the waveform and scooching. Ooh, that was weird, but kind of fun. Scooching stuff around, stretching it. Because I made this loop with that loop brace on top of this waveform. I made the loop, squishing, moving things around. I want it to sound intentional. Whenever I do stuff like this, I want it to sound musical. I don't want it to sound too haphazard. That's a guiding principle I like to work with, at least. Okay, it's starting to come together a little bit more. You can see, I'm still kind of working with it. This type of stuff, it takes some time for it to really start clicking. I find with kind of warping and intentionally squishing or stretching, if too many warp markers are kind of compressed together like it is right there, it starts to kind of make it sound too artificial and weird. So eventually, okay, I'm making all of these warp markers that are set in stone right here. And right now, this is when I kind of start to stretch it apart a little bit. Oh, I think I was getting a little frustrated because it was not sounding good. And so now I'm like, okay, what if I just made a shorter? I mean, that's fine, right? Oh, and 1 and 2. I mean, that's cool. It's just, it's not much going on. Like, so you could just take that and put that one measure of 4 beats and make that into a loop. And I actually did. But now I want to go back and work on that kind of 2-bar. See, now I'm stretching it out, and now it's starting to sound a little more interesting. And now I'm starting to get compelled and think I could actually do something cool with this. Okay, now it's starting to sound a bit more musical. This is where I start getting excited when I start working with this, because it always takes that initial bummer, I guess, or just frustration to like get excited when things actually start clicking. You can still hear it's a little off towards the end there, but it's getting better. It's getting better. That last one, I just need to scooch it back out, and I think we're good to go with this being a cool little clip. Okay, that sounds musical. To me, at least. Beat the judge, I guess. Oh, and then I got some 4/4 going. Got some bass drum. And I just clicked these in. Nothing too crazy. But already we got a little bit more of a musical thing happening here. It's already kind of transformed, which is fun. Nothing too crazy. Messing around with tempo a little bit here. I wanted to actually slow it down a bit. Oh. And then I'm just like, oh, what about the bass? I tend to kind of work maybe a little too fast. So I haven't recorded this or anything. I'm just like, oh, I'm messing around with my push controller right now. Just with an arpeggiated bass. And I was like, oh, wait, that's actually kind of cool. So I hit the MIDI capture button, which is kind of a lifesaver because I never hit record when I start recording something. I never hit record, but then it's like that thing was actually kind of cool. So I want to save it. So that MIDI capture button has saved me so many times, as it did right here. Then I just go back in, maybe do some quantizing, fix it up. So it's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay. All right, now I have the thing. Okay, and now sorry, there's a lot of stuff going on. Now I'm just pushing in some hi-hat hits with my push controller. I'm finger drumming those in because I kind of like having a little bit of swing on my cymbal parts of the hi-hat. Testing out some other stuff. It doesn't sound that good. Okay, so I have a loop now. It's decent. It could definitely use some mixing, I was messing around with a mastering plugin just to make it hopefully sound better for y'all. But now I'm using some beat repeat, which is one of my favorite go-tos on that sample. Kind of like chopping it up and repeating it, giving it this like sputtering effect, which is super fun. This is when I was just like, all right, this is starting to sound cool. I made this for my wife because she's super into horror movies. I thought she'd think it was funny. it's fun. It's fun. Whatever. I had a good time. Hope you did too. Thanks for watching. See you next time. I think of something cool to do. Let me know what you think, by the way. I'd love to hear any critiques and ways to improve what I'm doing. And hit me up if you want to work on any beat making. Thanks.